it's the first time I've connected the microphone to the DJI Neo, and I'm really intrigued as that it actually cuts out the sound of the buzzing, and I'm confident that it will follow me all around. And there will be certain times where I think that's quite cool, that it's not so windy, doesn't help, but there's going to be times that would be quite nice to talk to you and not be stationary, especially if I want to be able to come over, you're really struggling, you're like this. Okay, well let's call it a day for you today, and we'll try again another day. Right, let's start with a good morning YouTube. Today is the 3rd of July, so we are well into the toasty warm season. Greenery is beginning to look a little bit burnt and brown in some areas, and I am over in Stenning in West Sussex to a place I used to frequent on a weekly basis. And I already notice since COVID, a few walks over here, and I can see that a lot has changed. Up until 2015 I was a tree surgeon, and I used to do a lot of bushcraft with some friends over this way, and obviously at that time of my life there was a lot of ash dieback happening. And this whole flank of woods, this kind of horseshoe that we used to visit and spend the day carving in our hammocks, etc., has, not only has it died back, it's thinned out, it's cleared itself. I shall try and zoom in for you on the action camera, but I'm not quite sure how well it will come out. But that section there, which is pretty bald now, used to be like this section here. I mean, you can see in that there's a lot of dead ash. So I wanted to come out, there's a couple of spots. I don't know if I can still even get to them because I see a lot of fences and gates and stuff now. I'm hoping I can still access the little water hole, because I used to find wildlife there on occasion. I've caught deer drinking from it before now, so I'm going to hopefully I can still head round that way. It'll be in the woods, it'll be cooler, and I have bought my kind of 3D leaf ghillie top, just so that my little white arms aren't so visible, and because it's a really kind of open mesh, it's nice and breathable, so it won't be so hot. I am donning a quick Temu idea. I am sick and tired of either having the shoulder strap for my camera or it being in my rucksack. I was just hoping that there'd be a way I could just clip it onto my rucksack somehow, as long as the straps are strong enough, and it still gives me access to quickly grab it if I need it. Obviously not while I'm holding you, of course, but okay. Let's wander up and see if I can still find the water, or see if we've still got access to it. Because like I said, a lot has changed. If I can find it, I'll see you there. Well, it's good to see it's still accessible. It's a lot more overgrown than it used to be. I mean, obviously everything grows, all the trees and everything around it for the last 5 years has grown considerably. I see a couple of narrow paths on the opposite side. Obviously deer use it as a bit of a corridor to come down and get themselves a drink. I think now's the time to have a quick coffee and put on my little ghillie jacket, just so I'm a little bit more camouflaged, and then I'm going to head south, hopefully all the way through the woodland. It goes up a slight ramp and there's a little bit of a viewpoint which on more than one occasion I've seen deer in. I can never remember whether that is the coot or the moorhen. I always get them mixed around, but that's definitely, either way, it's the sound of my childhood from going to the WWT in Arundel as a kid with my mum and my nan. Used to do that a lot, especially in the summer, during the summer holidays especially. Okay, I'm gonna get myself sorted, have a coffee. Right, got myself a coffee. Now, the main purpose of today is yet again to try and find an active badger set. There's a couple of other areas that I know around this part of the woods, mainly because they're on big banks, that there have been two sets that I have known from the past, and we're going back kind of 10-15 years, but you know, with a bit of luck they're still there. Like I said in my last video, I'm still getting used to my camera changing from the EOS R to the EOS R5. It is so much better in every way. I mean, the EOS R was their first rendition of the mirrorless camera, came out in 2019. I think that's when I bought it, and we've moved on leaps and bounds since then. I'm not quite sure what activity this bit of lake gets anymore. I mean, there's definitely less rubbish than there used to be, which is a good sign. Admittedly, the rubbish area used to be slightly further down that end of the pond. I guess it's a pond. Well, I'm going to finish this, sit by the water, and then just enjoy the shade of the woodland and the clear activity in the fact is that we're near the water. And I've got a new app to try out and show you. It's a game changer when it comes to birds. If you've seen last week's video, I briefly mentioned it, but I think today I want to talk about it a bit more because it's changed how I identify, and that sounded big. It's changed how I count animals, count birds, ID them, see how many I've seen in a day. Again, I'll talk about that all in a short while. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, well, cup of coffee had, chocolate biscuit had, and a little sip by the water's been had. Let's head south, see if we can find this ridge line, just see if there's any deer there, and then we're going to walk along the flanks of the banks and see if we've got any badgers. Not badgers, just their sets this time of day. I guess it's either a good thing or a bad thing, but this body of water used to become quite messy, quite a lot of rubbish, bonfires, even a shopping trolley in there once, and we are miles from a supermarket. And I noticed over the last 4 or 5 years since I was last here that they have fenced it off, blocked it off with trees they've cut down. But there is one nice little track that still runs through it. Whether it's on purpose or not, I wasn't sure, but it was clearly a very worn, still used track. Now I've got to this end of the track and this end of the body of water, and you can see it's almost like it's been cleared. Well, it has been cleared, but it looks like it's been cleared for people to sit and enjoy. Unfortunately, you can see someone had a fire there, which is not necessarily a good idea unless you know exactly what you're doing. We've still got the usual thing like carpets, as you do. And back to my tree surgery days, lovely. But it looks like they've cleared this for people to sit and enjoy it. They've left this tree laying down here, which is nice. It gives us somewhere to park. Now, if I'd known that 10 minutes ago, I would have sat there instead of on the floor. And from here, you get to see right the way down it. Right the way down the body of water with the little island in the middle. And we're under shade. This is definitely a spot I'm going to keep coming back to. Okay, onwards and upwards. Oh, what's that in the field? Magpie. Or pica pica, if you want the Latin word for it. Right, we're back outside. That was quite nice in there. A lot's changed, but that's good. Right, let's keep going. Right, where we're getting to where I've seen the badgers before. We've gained some serious altitude. If you can see through the trees there, I can definitely feel the oxygen getting thin right up here. No, we're not. We're about 200 feet, maybe. I'm just getting old and I'm unfit. Well, I'm going to start rummaging through here, see what I can find. Now here is where there were 2 good-sized badger sets here, and there was really worn paths of where they used to have their daily routine for generations and generations. There was also footpaths that kind of ran their way through it, and I think with all this ash dieback of everything that's fallen down that the estate has just left on the ground, I think, and I'd say that a lot of the downhill mountain biking that used to happen a lot kind of 10, 15, 10, up to 5 years ago, this area used to be plastered with dugout tracks. And I've only found 1 track today for mountain bikes. Everything else is overgrown. and I don't know whether that's on purpose or not, but that's good news. Although this area, I'll show you in fact, this area used to have lots of worn badger tracks here. And although I can see indents in some of the areas that I knew had sets, you know, set holes, they seem to be really overgrown. The two that I can see from here, really overgrown. So either they've been culled or they've just moved on to something greater. The annoying thing is I used to know of about five or six sets along these two flanks, and they are all empty. Makes you wonder. Well, I'm going to spend a couple of minutes here catching my breath. I've been walking for about an hour uphill, and it is very, very warm. I'm going to try and call the buzzard in, see if he shows at all. If he does, I'll hopefully get some footage, and if he doesn't, obviously I won't. Yep, always works. That was three of them, and they were really close. They came in quiet, and it wasn't until they come over the top, in the open section, they started shouting. But someone managed to put these down and get the camera off. They were quite high, but unfortunately into the sun a bit as well, so they might be a little bit silhouetted, but you know, it is what it is. I do love seeing them. Right, let's keep walking for a bit. Oh, well, you can see everything that's fallen has been cut back, so to still give us this access of this path, which is nice. Every time I find a soily mound, I wonder if it's signs of wildlife. Of course, there's a clear bit. This is where a lot of ash was. Look at the size of that beech tree that's come down. Yeah, that was a big boy. Right, well, I'm beginning to head downhill now. Those flanks were no good. And the flanks I've just come from up on that side are also no good. Maybe there's just aren't buzzards in this area. Right, let's find somewhere to park my bum for a minute, have a spot of lunch, and we'll have a chat. Well, I did want to mention an app that I've been using the last 3 or 4 days. Now, when I used to go out and try and identify birds, I always had my binoculars and my little Colin Gem book of birds. Now, that whole collection, I'll show you some pictures here, that I've had for since I was a teenager. I probably had them for maybe 35 years, various renditions as they get updated. Now, one particular book I've used for the last 20 years is this one here. I don't know what date it was published, but it's here, that year. So you can only go by visual identification, and then obviously as we got the internet, you could start going onto like the RSPB website, and if you had a rough idea what it was, you could click on the different birds, listen to the call sound, hope you have remembered. Or you could, you know, have mobile internet, and if you're somewhere where you've got mobile internet, you can look it up there and then, or you can do an audio recording to check it when you get home. Now that's how I've lived for the last 10 years, with having access to finding out most things. And I carry a little booklet with me, a notebook, that whenever I see a bird or an animal, no matter what it is, I write it down on that day. So when I get home and I think, oh, I haven't actually seen anything today to film or photograph, I look at that bit of paper and it says, you know, you saw some cabbage whites, you saw some dragonflies, damselflies, ladybirds, coots or moorhens, never can remember. It helps me in the fact that I then know that not a day's been wasted, because it's a day outdoors is never wasted, but it does mean that you see more than you remember you see. But this app called Merlin is a real game changer. I'm going to go into it now and I'll screen record, and I shall press record, and now you'll see it up here, and it's recording the different bird sounds that we hear. It'll identify them, and I can play it back, and because I recognise sounds that I know I've heard today, and it'll have the pictures with it, I can then learn which birds are what, especially when you come out. And I know chiff chaff is one I always recognise. In fact, it is one that's, yeah, it's the first one that's come up on the list. With the chiff chaff, chiff chaff, chiff chaff, chiff chaff, very distinguishable from other birds. But I know what that looks like. And if I didn't, I'd now hear that chiff chaff, chiff chaff, chiff chaff, and then look on the screen, and the one it's picking up at the time will be the one at the top of the list. It's a real game changer. So now I'm going to shut up and let it do its thing. I'm going to sit, have a bit of lunch. It's a real game changer. It records the information, stores it on that particular day, and you can go back to it whenever you feel the need to. I, in the last 3 days, have looked at it at the end of each time I've been out, whether it's an hour or 10 minutes or whatever, and see what it's picked up. It's quite interesting. Anyway, I'll put the name of it below if anyone's interested in having a look at the app. It's a free download, not sponsored, anything by it. Just like to pass on, as this was passed on to me a couple of weeks ago. Right, coffee time. Okay, right, well, I stopped for 15 minutes and 59 seconds. I was recording, and let me screen record so I can show you. Here it is. European starling, great spotted woodpecker, Eurasian black cat, common wood pigeon, common chiff chaff. Now, I didn't know what the Eurasian black cat sounded like, so you can click on it, as you can see there, and you can press its song. And it'll play it for you. You can also play its call. And that goes for all of the birds that you see. I think it's a great app and I think I will probably use it most times that I'm out. What I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start mounting it externally on me or in the rucksack somewhere. Maybe I'll leave it in my rucksack and have a microphone external and let it run for the duration of the time I'm out. I don't know how juicy it's going to be on the battery, but we shall see. And I'll be able to see or tell what it is that's in my area. Now, it may have only been 5 in nearly 16 minutes, but don't forget, it's 12:29, it's lunchtime, it's in the middle of the day when they're at their quietest. Now, if I were here for the evening or for dawn, I think it'll be a different story, and one I am going to have to do using this app. Now a lot of times I go out, I don't always get the chance to film or photograph things, and then I realised that a lot of people that I watch on YouTube, more so with wildlife photographers, I'm not watching them each time to get these epic photographs of these epic animals. I like to watch them to see where they've been and what they've done for that day. I like to see their routine. I like to see if they do things differently than me, whether they've caught anything on camera or not. I like to hear what they've got to say about themselves, for themselves, the stuff they use, the stuff they carry. So I hope today has been a bit like that for you guys. Drop a comment down below, let me know. I'm going to sit here, finish my coffee, and then I've got to head home. If you have liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. And if you don't subscribe, I'd love you to. And if you click on the notification bell, it'll let you next time a video is out. So until next time, appreciate you watching. Take care. Bye for now. Another quick point of interest. I just wanted to show you that I know I said I was using the orange tassel togs to have the camera across me. Well, also, if I want to carry it in my arm, which I do a lot of the time, it means I can just have it on one arm without worrying that it's gonna even, can't actually tip. Which also means is that I can use this one for putting my kind of vlogging camera on. And now you can see I've got both of them suspended. Obviously, I think the camera does need to be on both if I'm just doing that. But 9 times out of 10, I'd rather have it in my arm. Just one, stop it swinging around. But this is a really good idea. It means it's not going anywhere. Okay, that's all. Bye.